cell door open. That's all there is to it. Let him escape.
In my view, it's all very irregular. It might entail the most embarrassing repercussions.
Exactement.
Certainly.
It's a responsibility of the first magnitude.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wilson, but you must
Blast all this discussion. What good are words? I'm sick of words. Hang the repercussions and the responsibility. If I fail, I'm responsible. Leave the cell door open. Let him escape. Let him. It's our only chance.
Monsieur.
Well, you can threaten me with the bottom pits of hell, and still I insist. This obscenity must be destroyed. Do you hear me? Destroyed.
Some films entertain us, others challenge us, and then there are films that force us to confront the darkest chapters of human history. Released in 1946, The Stranger is one of those rare motion pictures. Arriving in theaters just months after the Second World War, The Stranger was among the very first Hollywood films to reveal authentic documentary footage of Nazi concentration camps to American audiences.
Do you recognize this man? That is Conrad Meineke, commander in charge of one of the more efficient concentration camps. You know him, don't you? You have met him here in Harbor.
No. I've never seen that man, Mr. Wilson.
Judge, would you mind putting out the lights? I've been showing your father some films, and I'd like you to see them, too. I'm on the Allied Commission for the Punishment of War Criminals. It's my job to bring escaped Nazis to justice. It's that job that brought me to Harper.
Well, surely you don't think that... Mr. Wilson, I've never so much as even seen a Nazi.
Well, you might without your realizing it. They look like other people and act like other people when it's to their benefit. Gas chamber, Mrs. Rankin. The candidates were first given hot showers so that their pores would be open and the gas would act that much more quickly. And this is a lime pit in which hundreds of men, women, and children were buried alive.
Why do you want me to look at these horrors?
All this you're seeing, it's all the product of one mind. The mind of a man named Franz Kindler.
Franz Kindler?
Yes, he was the most brilliant of the younger minds from the Nazi Party. It was Kindler who conceived the theory of genocide, mass depopulation of conquered countries, so that regardless of who won the war, Germany would emerge the strongest nation in Western Europe, biologically speaking. Unlike Goebbels, Himmler, and the rest of them, Kindler had a passion for anonymity. The newspapers carried no picture of him. Oh, no, and just before he disappeared, he destroyed every evidence that might link him with his past, down to the last fingerprint. There's no clue to the identity of Franz Kindler, except one little thing. He has a hobby that almost amounts to a mania. Clocks.
At a time when much of the world was still coming to terms with the unimaginable atrocities of the war, the film dared to ask a chilling question. What if one of the architects of that evil had quietly disappeared into ordinary American life? Directed by and starring the legendary Orson Welles, The Stranger blends the shadowy atmosphere of film noir with the relentless suspense of a manhunt. Welles portrays Franz Kindler, a fugitive Nazi war criminal who has assumed a new identity in a quiet New England town, believing his past has been buried forever. But as investigator Mr. Wilson, played with quiet determination by Edward G. Robinson, closes in on the truth, a tense game of deception begins, one where every conversation, every glance, and every ticking second brings the hunter closer to his prey. Though often overshadowed by Welles' earlier masterpieces, The Stranger remains one of the most gripping thrillers of the 1940s. It is a film that combines noir suspense with historical urgency, reminding us that evil does not always announce itself. It can hide in plain sight. So join me as we uncover the story behind this overlooked classic, explore its remarkable production, and discover why The Stranger deserves to be remembered as one of the most compelling films of the post-war era. Behind the camera, The Stranger represented a pivotal moment in Orson Welles' remarkable career. Following the groundbreaking success of Citizen Kane, Welles had earned a reputation as one of Hollywood's most brilliant visionaries. But that reputation came at a cost. His uncompromising artistic ambition often clashed with major studio heads, and after the troubled production of The Magnificent Ambersons, many executives questioned whether he could deliver a commercially successful film. The Stranger became his opportunity to prove them wrong. Unlike his earlier productions, Welles worked under tighter studio supervision and with a more conventional screenplay. While he was accustomed to complete creative freedom, this time he had to operate within the expectations of the studio. Yet rather than seeing these limitations as obstacles, Welles embraced them, crafting a suspenseful thriller that balanced artistic style with broad audience appeal. The gamble paid off. Upon its release, The Stranger became one of the strongest box office successes of Welles' career, demonstrating that he could create a compelling, accessible film without sacrificing the visual brilliance that had become his trademark. Of course, no discussion of The Stranger would be complete without recognizing the remarkable performances that bring its story to life. Orson Welles delivers one of the most unsettling performances of his career as Franz Kindler. Rather than portraying his character as loud or overtly intimidating, Welles chooses restraint. His calm demeanor, measured voice, and composed appearance makes Kindler all the more disturbing. He reminds us that evil often wears the mask of respectability, hiding in plain sight until the moment it is exposed. Standing opposite Welles is Edward G. Robinson, whose performance as Mr. Wilson is a masterclass in quiet determination. Robinson resists the temptation to play the role as an action hero. Instead, he relies on intelligence, patience, and the careful observation, allowing every conversation and every clue to bring him one step closer to the truth. The battle between Wilson and Kindler is fought as much with wit as it is with courage, making their confrontation all the more compelling. Loretta Young also delivers a deeply affecting performance as Mary Longstreet. Caught between the man she loves and the horrifying truth about his identity, she becomes the emotional heart of the film. Her journey from trust to doubt, and finally to heartbreaking realization, gives The Stranger an emotional weight that elevates it far beyond the conventional thriller. Perhaps that is why The Stranger continues to resonate with audiences today. It is more than a film noir, more than a mystery, and more than a post-war drama. It is a powerful reminder that the past cannot be erased, that truth has a way of revealing itself, and that justice often arrives when it is least expected. Nearly 80 years after its release, The Stranger remains a gripping example of Orson Welles' extraordinary talent as both a filmmaker and an actor. It stands as a timeless classic that deserves to be rediscovered by every lover of classic cinema. A film that proves some stories never lose their power, no matter how much time has passed.
I don't need any tricks. No matter what happens to me, tricks won't do you any good. You're finished, Herr Franz Kindler. The citizens of Harper. They've come after you. The plain little ordinary people, the ones you've been laughing at, Herr Franz Kindler. Well, you can't fool them anymore. Oh, sure, you can kill me, Mary, half the people down there. There's no escape. You'd have the world and it closed in on you till there was only half. That closed in on you and there was only this room. And this room, too, is closing in on you.
It's not true, the things they say I did. It's all their idea. I followed orders.
You gave the orders.
I only did my duty. Don't send me back to them. I can't face them. I'm not a criminal.
You are.
One of the film's most fascinating behind-the-scenes stories involves its unforgettable climax inside the towering clock. Rather than relying solely on dialogue to build suspense, Welles transforms the clock tower into a powerful visual symbol. As the gears relentlessly turn and time ticks away, they reflect the inescapable truth confronting Franz Kindler. No matter how carefully he has concealed his identity, time itself is running out. Throughout the film, Welles fills nearly every frame with the striking noir imagery. Deep shadows, dramatic lighting, unusual camera angles, and carefully composed shots create an atmosphere of constant unease. These techniques don't simply make The Stranger beautiful to look at. They place the audience directly inside a world where trust is fragile, appearances are deceptive, and danger can emerge from the most ordinary places. It is this remarkable combination of suspense, visual artistry, and psychological depth that allowed The Stranger to endure. Nearly 80 years after its release, it remains one of the finest examples of post-war film noir, and a compelling reminder that the greatest threats are often those we fail to recognize until it's almost too late. As our investigation into The Stranger draws to a close, we're reminded that the greatest films don't simply entertain, they leave us with questions that linger long after the final frame. Orson Welles crafted more than a suspenseful film noir. He created a timeless story about deception, justice, and the inescapable weight of the past. Thank you for joining me on this journey through one of Hollywood's overlooked classics. If you enjoyed this deep dive into The Stranger, be sure to like, subscribe, and join me on our next exploration into the timeless films and unforgettable artists that continue to shape the history of cinema. Until then, keep watching the classics, keep discovering the stories behind them, and remember, some mysteries may end, but cinema is forever. I'll see you on the next picture.